Today is our Hobnob, Mississippi. It's our 15th Hobnob, Mississippi, in fact, and it's really a wonderful event that allows everyone to come together and do just that, hobnob, which is mingle and visit, and that's what makes this such a fun event. But we also highlight it by having all of our statewide elected officials are invited to speak, and they'll be here today to do that. We're the Mississippi Economic Council. We're the State Chamber of Commerce. We're made up of business members throughout the state of Mississippi. We're really there to protect the business interest of our members as well as the business climate of the state of Mississippi as a whole. Our goal is to improve our economic competitiveness, our educational attainment, to make sure that we're using our resources properly, we have the type of infrastructure necessary to grow our economy, and grow in ways of creating the types of jobs that our citizens can benefit from in the future.
Mississippi will be celebrating its bicentennial. We became a state in 1817, and over the next year we'll be doing a lot of information about great things that have happened here in Mississippi. And this morning, before our first speaker, I want to bring up a couple of those that I think are really kind of appropriate before the commissioner comes and speaks. One is, in 1958, the first state fair was held. At that time, it was sponsored by the Mississippi Agricultural Bureau and the Mississippi Agricultural Society. And 1 year later is when Mississippi took its place on the throne as the king of cotton, becoming the nation's leader in cotton production. So, with that, I'm now happy to introduce our Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce, Cindy Hyde-Smith. We're always honored to kick off our Hobnob event with the Commissioner because her and her staff work so hard to make this event happen, to make sure everything is just right here at the Coliseum, because she understands it's one more way to display all of the great things that are happening here in our state. She has worked tirelessly to get additional dollars to make renovations to not only this facility, but all of the facilities that she oversees in the state. We get to enjoy some of those today, and she's continuing to make those efforts to really bring about additional improvements to our facilities. She's been a longtime champion for agriculture, and she really works for fairness and equity in the marketplace to protect Mississippians through sound regulatory policies. Please welcome Commissioner Cindy Hyde-Smith.
Good morning and welcome to your Mississippi Coliseum. I love Hobnob. I love to be here. This is just a fun day. It's kind of a slow start getting started early in the morning, but by lunch this place will be packed out. It is a great thing, and I want to thank the Mississippi Economic Council for putting this on, for being here, and all the hard work that they do, because we all love to hobnob in politics that are in this room. Some of the things that I just wanted to bring before you today is we just finished the state fair, a record year. The weather was just perfect, and God is so confused because I prayed so hard for pretty weather, no rain, and now I'm praying so hard for rain. He is like saying, Cindy, make up your mind. But it did provide for a great state fair. We had over 700,000 fairgoers for 12 days of this great production that we do. And one of the important things, as Commissioner of Agriculture, that really warms my heart, we had over 1,500 animals in these barns back here. We had over 900 youth that were showing these animals, which was a record for us there. But if you can imagine managing 1,500 animals on the fairground, getting them into the show ring, getting them out of the show ring, and seeing these kids get the ribbon, because they are the future of our agriculture, and that's where we need to be spending our energy and our time. You know, agriculture is the #1 industry in this state. It's responsible for 30% of the jobs that are related to agriculture in this state from our 37,000 farms. Some of the other things that we've been working on Capitol Hill is the catfish issue. As many of you know, our catfish industry suffered when the decline came in from foreign catfish, and we had a resolution introduced that we really had to go address in Congress, where they were taking the inspections from USDA to put them back to FDA, where only less than 2% of the catfish were being inspected. So that was a really good opportunity for government and industry to get together and go lobby the Hill. I have spent some time in China. For 13 years, China did not buy our beef from the U.S. because of, well, mad cow is what you would know it as, BSE. We went over there. We had a lot of meetings because they no longer buy our poultry either for the last year. We were very productive in those meetings. We came back. They lifted the ban on their beef ban on buying our U.S. beef. So now we're in the process of getting all the details worked out where they will continue to buy our beef again. I hope the same thing happens with poultry. They're blaming that on avian influenza, the bird flu, that they won't buy our poultry. And the interesting thing is they don't want our white meat poultry. They just want our chicken feet. They want our paws. But just one company, Sanderson Farms alone, is costing them over $5 million per month that China is not buying our poultry. I have met with some representatives from Cuba. I am planning to go down there because, you know, when I was running for office, one of the things that I strongly put out there on the stump was to expand markets for our ranchers and farmers. I continue to try to do that every day. I think that that is an opportunity there that we need to pursue, and I certainly need to plan to make that 90-mile trip south of Miami, south of Florida, to see if we can't expand those markets. I think it only makes sense, and I'm really looking forward to some of those meetings that we can do that. I was reading a thing this morning about the economic impact that agriculture has. As I said before, it is the #1 industry in our state and is representative of over 30% of our jobs. But the farm revenues just in the southeast alone is nearly $40 billion. The farm revenue nationally, $400 billion. Think about that. A $400 billion impact nationally is what agriculture provides to our economic footprint. If you combined Google, Microsoft, Apple, and IBM, combined all of those, the revenues that they produce together, agriculture is right there with them. All the major airlines together, the economic impact that they have, just in the southeast, we top that. So agriculture is strong. We are here looking forward to so many things. The new trade mart that we're about to embark upon, we're working on the plans. I see some of the architects here, Jamie Ware, that's in attendance today. We're going to put the trade mart on this corner of the Coliseum. It will be attached to the Coliseum. It'll give us 40,000 square feet more trade area. So if you notice out there now, at the Trade Mart, they're putting up the big tent for Mistletoe Marketplace. Hopefully all of that will go away. We will have a Trade Mart that accommodates all of our shows here because it is a really fun time in Mississippi. It's a promising time for agriculture. You know, we look at the commodities, we follow the markets, we look at the prices, and it's just every day that you get out there that you need to be a spokesman for the farmers and ranchers for this state because there's a lot of things we may not do every day, but one thing for sure, we're going to eat every day, and we want that safe, affordable food on our tables. And thanks to the American farmer, we have that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being so attentive, and I certainly hope you enjoy your day, and I certainly hope you enjoy your lunch. And always thank God first, and then thank a farmer. Appreciate you. It is such an economic driver here. You know, 30% of the jobs here in Mississippi are related to agriculture. And I was reading something this morning that, you know, just in the southeast, agriculture produces more income than all the major passenger airlines combined. And, you know, you think about that in the southeast, just there, that all the airlines in the industry, that we have a bigger economic footprint than them. And then in the country, when you combine globally, when you combine Google, IBM, and Apple, and Microsoft, we are right below that nationally in the country. So 40 billion for the Southeast and over 400 billion for the country, an economic impact in agriculture, because, you know, we're going to eat every day. We may not play golf, we may not some days ride in a car, but we're going to eat every day. And that's the reason our job is so important. And to feed a growing population, you know, there's a lot of challenges out there, and we just enjoy doing it every day. But it is serious business, but it is a profitable business for the country.
As I said, it's always great to start our event having you come and speak, and thank you again to you and your staff for all that y'all do to make this possible here at the Mississippi Coliseum. It looks wonderful. You're doing a great job in keeping this facility up and running. I want to share a couple of sports facts with you about the state of Mississippi. Again, as we talk about celebrating our bicentennial, how many of y'all knew that T-ball, the popular game that all our kids play growing up, actually was formulated and first played in Starkville in 1961. And in fact, the game that was designed and devised is still the basic game that is played today by all of our youth. So that happened right here in Mississippi. Secondly, in 1882, the first heavyweight championship fight was held at Mississippi City. The term knockout was created or came from that fight because it was used after John L. Sullivan won the fight in 8 rounds. So again, just some really neat things that are right here and unique to Mississippi that we'll have the opportunity to celebrate over the next year. Our next speaker this morning is State Auditor Stacey Pickering. As State Auditor, he's really focused on accountability in state government and has recovered over $25 million in embezzled, misappropriated, or misspent taxpayer money. He's responsible for ensuring that all state agencies are using best practices to make efficient use of state dollars. But he serves us in so many other ways. He is a chaplain in the Mississippi Air National Guard in the 253rd Air Support Squadron. He has been honored for his support of employees who serve in the Mississippi National Guard and Reserves, and he's also a dedicated troop leader for the Boy Scouts of America. He is now serving in his 3rd term. Please join me in welcoming State Auditor Stacey Pickering.
Good morning and welcome to Hobnob. We're glad to be here with you today. It's an annual event. It's great to see so many friends from across not just the state of Mississippi, but the region and the nation that have flown in to be with us today. Not just to talk about business and politics, but talk about the future of our society. It's a privilege serving as your state auditor day in and day out. I got a great staff that we get to work with, and it's a great reputation. As you've heard time and time again, Mississippi is ranked in the top 10 states at enforcing our own public corruption laws. We take right versus wrong seriously in Mississippi, and I get to be that spokesman, that point person with our staff protecting our state's reputation, our state's integrity. Just in the last 6 months alone, we've issued over $750,000+, $750,000+ of demands for individuals who've misspent, misappropriated, or embezzled our tax dollars. Just this week alone, we've already arrested one individual in North Mississippi and New Albany for embezzling almost $300,000 from the city of New Albany in the municipal courts. And just yesterday, in Tallahatchie County, we had a deputy tax assessor who pled guilty to embezzling taxpayer dollars and betraying the trust of the people she worked for. We get to do that every day on your behalf. And on behalf of the staff of the Office of State Auditor, thank you for that privilege for allowing us to protect Mississippi's reputation. We've done a great job as a state rooting out public corruption, embezzlement, theft, misuse. But one of the biggest areas we've got to work on and focus on for the rest of this term and going forward is the misappropriation and the mismanagement of state and federal tax dollars. Right now, in Mississippi, over a half a dozen state agencies are facing a potential of $104 million clawback. $104 million in taxpayer money, grants given from the federal government, that we're looking at federal agencies looking to claw back to the federal government. That would be a loss to us, the taxpayers of Mississippi. It's not embezzled, it's not stolen, it's just they didn't follow the rules of spending the federal dollars. We have investigators from various Office of Inspector Generals in Mississippi today. Auditors from various Inspector General's offices today looking and checking and double checking how our state agencies have managed our federal dollars. The legislature last year increased the general funding for the auditor's office, and we've already hired 15 new auditors that are already in the field protecting Mississippi, working to address not just the fraud, but the mismanagement, the incompetence that has taken place that has put us at risk of losing $104 million. We're asking the legislature to continue that commitment to fighting waste, to continue that commitment in January, and we're going to need your help to make sure that we do that. $104 million could go a long way in public education in Mississippi. $104 million will go a long way in public safety. It will go a long way to our roads and bridges. We have to take the mismanagement and misappropriation of our tax dollars seriously in Mississippi, and the legislature, as I said, has started that process. 15 new auditors, and right now we opened up new positions and are looking to hire more going into the next year. Our commitment to you, the taxpayers of Mississippi, is not just to root out corruption, the embezzlers, the thieves, but also to work on the incompetence and the mismanagement and the misappropriation that is costing our state dearly. With your help and with the legislature's continued support, we will make a difference for future generations when it comes to the appropriation and the management of Mississippi taxpayer dollars. Thank y'all for the privilege of allowing me to serve as your state auditor, to work with a great staff at audit, to work on your behalf to protect Mississippi. Thank y'all for being at Hobnob and allowing us to be with you today, and look forward to visiting with you and having a cup of coffee with you this morning. I always look forward to this event, share a little bit of our record, but also some of the issues the state's facing when it comes to financial management, misappropriation, and embezzlement issues that the business community can help get behind, get good legislation passed. We're going to be calling on some better management of our federal programming dollars that are coming into Mississippi when it comes to mismanagement, misappropriation, having trained staff in place. It's one of the weaknesses we have uncovered and found in the last several years, and so we're asking the business community today to help us as a state from accountability, from responsibility, make sure that we have trained, accountable individuals when it comes to managing not just our state tax dollars, but our federal tax dollars.
I'm excited to be here with y'all today. Thank you so much, Scott, Blake, the whole MEC team. This is a fabulous event, and certainly always appreciate the music. Thank you very much. But what a fun time to be together, to talk, to network, talk about some of the exciting things that are going on in our state. And I like to always give some positive information. So we've got some great things that are happening, and as Scott said, you know, I'm very, very focused on our children, our financial wellness, our college savings. And so let me give you a couple of exciting things that are happening in college education, college savings. You know, we run the MEC program, the Mississippi Affordable College Savings, Impact, the Mississippi Prepaid Affordable College Tuition. So in the last year, we have doubled the number of participants. And that says people are engaged in our future and what's the next workforce going to look like. That's a game changer to have people investing, and it's primarily through payroll deduction. So if you're not doing it in your business and you'd like to, please contact my office. We are happy to set it up for you. And you know what happens? When that person invests in a child or grandchild, they're 7 times more likely to further their education, and that is extremely important for the future. And this is applicable to four-year universities, community colleges, vocational schools. So there's a place for everybody for the college savings. Now, one of the things we've done is we researched and we looked at how can we continue to gravitate and grow this program, and what can we do. So there are many things that we have going on in college savings. We've got the ECTOS Bowl coming up. And so if there are any people that you know that are students at any of the four-year universities, they can go online to treasurerlynnfitch.com and they can register. And if they get selected, They're going to the Egg Bowl with us. And guess what? There's going to be over $7,000 in scholarships given to those young people. That's almost a full year time for them to be in school, to be paid for by a 529 plan. So I encourage you to go back, tell the folks that work with you, talk to any students you know, to go to treasurerlynnfitch.com and sign up for the Egg Bowl toss. So one of the things that we talked about doing further, and now it's come to fruition, is we see that mascots across the country for college savings are such a win-win. The kids love them, the parents love them, the grandparents. And so I'm happy to introduce to you today our new mascot, the Mockingbird, Echo. Echo, come on up. So what does Echo represent? The 529 plans and savings. And Echo means we have to say it over and over again until you listen, until you start saving, until you make it a part of what you do in your businesses. And so the children are so excited to have Echo going into the schools, going to the businesses. It's just tremendous on what's happening, and we're excited to have Echo today as to launch off here with you all. So Echo, stay on stage with me a little longer. Let's talk a little bit about the financial education that's going on, because college savings and financial education go hand in hand. So a couple years ago, I came to you all and I said, I've created an initiative called TEAM, Treasurer's Education About Money. TEAM. And it is truly a team effort. Many of you are partners today, and I appreciate that because, you know, let me tell you what in 2 years has happened. In 2 years, 48,000 young people have received some type of financial education in the schools. 48,000. It's amazing. 163,000 hours of learning in the schools. We've got over 71 counties, 360 schools are participating. That's amazing. And here's the best part. We're benchmarking, and we see that those young people have increased their personal finance knowledge by 91%. That's who you want in your businesses, right? You want people that are good stewards of their dollars, that understand that it's all part of being a better steward, a better citizen for the long range, is to have them understand financial education. So team has been very successful. MEC is a big partner. They helped us promote it, and we truly appreciate that. And then MCEE, they're training our teachers. Our teachers, over 800 teachers have been trained in financial education. Well, again, that's awesome. And the education system, we've got superintendents, principals, teachers, and they are seeing this very wildly successful. They're seeing these young people who are confident, who are now going to go to college because they understand student loans, who want to buy a house and they're talking about it, or they want to buy a car or truck and they know they have to have maintenance and insurance. And that's all part of the tapestry of who we are and why financial education is important in our state. So college savings, financial education go hand in hand. And let me tell you what, those are positive issues, but here's why we have to do those. Let me remind you of this not very good statistic. Mississippi has the highest poverty level in the nation. We don't like that. But what are we going to do about it? We see that's a problem, so what are the solutions? Well, certainly, savings for college, changing the financial dynamics in our culture. That's what's important. That's going to get us out of poverty. You lift people out of poverty if you empower them, because then they understand the language of money. That's why it's important. It's important because our students in Mississippi get out of our schools and they've got $26,000 in debt. Did you hear me? $26,000 is the average student loan debt that our young people have when they finish school in Mississippi. That's a pretty steep hill to climb. And so we have to change that. Every survey puts us as having the worst financial capable habits in the country. And again, what do? We do exactly what we're doing right now. We all work together as a team effort. We talk about our financial wellness. We talk about education. We talk about savings for college and getting these young people geared the right way. Because it all adds up to the whole. You know, you've heard me talk about the poverty, but let me take it a step further. There are 78,000 households in Mississippi that are headed by women that are below the poverty level. 78,000 heads of household by women. And you know what? 3 out of 4 children in poverty are in those households. So what are we doing about it? Well, we're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to help with financial education. And you know, in the states where financial education is mandatory, credit scores are going up. We can benchmark. We can see that. So we have to together think about ways we can lift out. Now, the equal pay is part of it. Mississippi is only one of 2 states that has never adopted equal pay. So put that together with the 78,000 heads of household that women are living in, raising their children below the poverty level. Again, that all, adds up to the whole, and why we all have to work together to make a difference. Right now, the debt for every man, woman, and child in Mississippi is $1,707. So it means every one of us owe $1,707 for our state debt. That's a lot of money. That's almost double the national average. So if we don't change the dynamics, not only in our personal side, but in our financial household for the state, we're going to continue to grow there. So this is a financial discussion all the way around. And how do we help change that? You know, GDP, the growth rate is very slow across our country. Mississippi, we're even lagging further behind at 1.7%. So we have to look at the big picture. Today we're having a bond commission meeting at 2 o'clock. We're going to talk about how we spend your taxpayer dollars and why it's important that we're very diligent and that we vet out every single project because, again, that adds up to the state debt that all of us owe. But it's a big financial discussion. And so for me, I'm excited to be able to talk about really, really positive things, to have ECHO here, and again, to be a part of how we can all work together for college savings, payroll deduction, financial education for our children, and changing the financial culture and the wellness of our state. So thank you for all that you do. I thank you for being invested. I truly appreciate MEC. It brings us all together, and we have great conversation, and this is truly one that we're going to move together, and we are going to change the needle. So thank you, and God bless you. Today's an exciting time to talk about college savings. We have a new mascot we're introducing, the Mockingbird Echo, and so he's going to represent going out and talking to families, grandparents, schools, businesses, and it's important to save for college. So we're going to be talking about impact and max and payroll deduction, and again, how kids won't get out of school with $26,000 in debt, which is what Mississippi students have right now. So how can we help them? How can we propel them? And this is a good way to introduce them through our new mascot Echo.